The night smelled like motor oil and rain. The fluorescent lights in the auto garage flickered overhead, painting the whole room in a ghostly glow. I wiped the grease off my hands with a rag, still shaking from the argument I'd had with my ex earlier that day. Work was my escape, the satisfying resistance of tight bolts, the steady hum of engines, and the sound of old rock music leaking from a dusty radio in the corner. Then she walked in. Her name was Riley. She was a customer who'd been bringing her old, stubborn Jeep in for repairs every few weeks. It was unusual. Most women who came in had their boyfriends or fathers in tow, but Riley, she always came alone, confident, bold, and unapologetically herself. She leaned against the counter, and the whole garage seemed to shrink around her. "Hey, Emma," she said. Her voice was low, the kind that could melt away the worst kind of day. "You got time to take another look at my Jeep? I think it's pretending to work just so it can come see you." I laughed, a real laugh, in spite of myself. Well, if it's pretending, it's got good taste. Her smile deepened, and for a moment, the air felt thick, charged. I grabbed my wrench and nodded toward the garage bay. "Pull it in." As she drove the Jeep onto the platform, the smell of rain grew stronger. Outside, thunder rolled like a distant warning, but inside, the world narrowed down to just the two of us, the hum of the lights, the soft tapping of her fingers on the hood, the way her eyes followed every move I made as I worked. "You're good at this," she said, her tone softer now. I mean, not just good. "You look like you belong here." I shrugged, trying to hide the blush creeping up my neck. "Been fixing cars since I was 15. My dad thought teaching me this stuff would keep me out of trouble." She leaned a little closer. "Did it?" A smirk played on my lips. "You tell me." She laughed, that low, warm sound I was already starting to crave. Minutes ticked by, the rain outside turning into a full-blown downpour. The big garage door rattled under the force of the storm. I looked up from under the hood and caught her watching me, not in the usual way people do, out of polite curiosity, but with a kind of hunger I hadn't seen in years. And suddenly, I couldn't look away. The space between us crackled. Riley stepped closer. Her perfume, something floral and warm, mixing with the familiar scent of oil and rain. "You always stay this late?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Sometimes," I said, my own voice lower than I intended. "It's quiet. No one to bother me." She tilted her head, her eyes glinting under the flickering light. "Maybe you like being alone." "Maybe," I whispered back. "Or maybe I just haven't found someone worth staying for." Her gaze held mine. "What if you already did?" My heart stumbled. My nerves were buzzing like the storm outside, and I dropped the rag I was holding. "Riley," she didn't let me finish. She reached out, her fingers gently brushing a streak of grease from my cheek. Her hand lingered there, so soft against the roughness of my skin. "You've got something right here," she murmured, her thumb tracing my cheekbone. I swallowed hard, my throat suddenly dry. "You missed a spot." Her eyes searched mine. "Where?" I met her gaze, all my defenses crumbling. "Here." And before I could think, before I could stop myself, I leaned in and kissed her. The rain crashed harder against the garage doors, the thunder echoing through the empty space around us. Her lips were soft, but sure, tasting of coffee and electricity. She pulled me closer by the collar of my jumpsuit, And for the first time in a very long time, I stopped pretending I didn't need someone. I just let myself feel. When we finally broke apart, we were both breathless. She smiled, a beautiful, dazzling thing in the dim light. So, is this what it takes to get a tune-up around here? I laughed, resting my forehead against hers, the tension of the day finally gone. For you? Maybe just this once? We stood there for what felt like forever, the garage lights humming our quiet love song above us. After that night, everything changed. She started coming by every few days, sometimes with a new imaginary problem with her Jeep, sometimes with 2 cups of coffee, and sometimes she just came to sit and talk while I worked. We talked about everything, our favorite bands, our failed relationships, the dreams we both thought we had packed away for good. The weeks turned into months. Her visits became the anchor of my day, the moment I looked forward to the most, somewhere between fixing her car and sharing late-night takeout on the greasy garage floor. Love snuck in quietly like the hum of a perfectly tuned engine you almost don't notice until it stops. One night, months later, after another long shift, I found her waiting outside in the rain again. Her hair was soaked, her thin jacket clinging to her shoulders. "You're gonna catch a cold," I said, pulling her inside the warm, dry garage. "I don't care," she said, shivering but smiling. "I just wanted to see you." I looked at her then, with water dripping from her hair and her lips trembling from the cold, and I saw my future. The same flickering lights watched over us. This time, when I kissed her, it wasn't sudden or uncertain. It was coming home, and under the soft, steady hum of the garage lights, I realized something simple but true. Love doesn't always come in perfect packaging. Sometimes it smells like motor oil and rain, tastes like cheap coffee, and begins with a broken down Jeep that just won't stay fixed. But if it's real, if it's hers, it's worth weathering every single storm. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content like this. It means the world to me. See you in the next one.